on the other timelines. In other words, if they exist as permanent elements of the other timelines, is this. And that is, I was sent about 5 or 6 times to the site of the ascension of Abraham Lincoln in Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. on the evening of April 14th of 1865. Those time probes were undertaken via chronovisor, the chronovisor that was located on the symphony orchestra-sized stage that exists in the gymnasium at the Cerrillos Cultural Center in Cerrillos, New Mexico. And these probes took place in the summer of 1971 when I was a child on the project. And during each of those probes, because the chronovisor they later found was accessing alternate timelines, so it was somewhat unreliable to establish to an historical and a scientific certainty what had happened at a particular moment of the timeline that we're on, the timeline that was sending children back in time via chronovision in that way, that form of time travel. And what they found is that every time they sent me to the same event, the event changed a little bit. And on one of those probes, I saw myself in the lobby of the theater over on the right and thought I was looking, well, it wasn't really the lobby, it was sort of towards the back of the lobby where people would walk along to avoid just traipsing through the lobby. And so there was a wall behind myself, and I thought that it was a mirror. In other words, I was walking along and I thought, oh, I'm seeing myself in a mirror. But then I verged over to the right, such as an image on a mirror wouldn't do. It wasn't me in a mirror, it was me accessing the same timeline from a later probe, a later jump via chronovisor back to that night. And then during my 5th or 6th probe, I then had that experience and saw myself over on the left. So I think we can infer from that experience that in the same way that we occupy our primary timeline, what I call our alpha timeline, there is also a version of us that exists and is doing things in the alternate timelines that we can access if we're accessing the parts of the quantum hologram that overlap our experience. In other words, all of us is born, lives for a number of decades, if we're blessed with length of years, and then we die. So I certainly wasn't running into myself to just one arbitrary place in the past that I was sent. For example, I was sent to Holland in around 1800, and this Dutch farm woman helped me out of this irrigation ditch and into her house and served me this leek and onion soup, and then virtually everybody in the village came into her barn-like house. And so by implication, I think that may indicate that when we, let's say for example, we visited our life 20 years in the past, we could theoretically, if we went to where we were on a given day and hour and minute of that past, we would find a 20-year younger version of ourselves. Yes.
Sorry, you said there's another satellite?
Yes. It was a very similar state of affairs to what is happening now, but not quite the same. We retrieved the satellite. We found inside an encrypted message along with blueprints. But the purpose was different. The purpose, I believe, was to tether themselves to our nations.
And think about it. Who are these people that are messing with the time? They're the same people. Remember Operation Looking Glass. Looking Glass was an operation. There's many different things that they've done that's been documented, and they've made like movies and stuff like that about like Stranger Things, and a lot of that stuff is coming out in the files, in the Epstein files, about how they were doing with children, and they were trying to harness this energy and see how it works and doing experiments on them. That's the same thing, man, as Stranger Things. But then you talk about Operation Looking Glass. They were trying to look into the future and change timelines to benefit them in the future. But after like 2012, they can no longer see that. So they've been trying to do everything else. Then you got to look up Operation Fishbowl. That's when they were all trying to shoot at the firmament and get out this mug, because they understand that we're in a closed environment. When y'all came in here, y'all got trapped. Y'all can't leave. And we cleaning this thing up. But look, the frequencies are rising and they can't stay here no more, y'all. That's real talk. There's a parasite feeding off of us, man.
And they really are playing in our motherfucking face, y'all, because ain't no way Epstein got up here and said, "What's up, y'all? This Palm Beach Pete." Nigga didn't even try to make a name. Palm Beach Pete look just fucking like Epstein. Okay. They don't even give a fuck no more. They're in their big ass houses cracking the fuck up. No shade. Like Palm Beach Pete, y'all gotta see the video. I'm gonna repost it for y'all can see it.
If I was at my home in Palm Beach. Hey everybody, this is Palm Beach Pete, which isn't too far from Black Point. Black Point's the next stop. And looking at the water and the seagrass to see how it's improved or not improved since last month. But
it's very interesting how both of them have a house in Palm Beach, Florida, the guy in the beginning, and also Palm Beach Pete. Here's some pictures of him growing up that I've never seen before, and some people don't even think it's real. Not only that, but the video that I show you of the other guy in the boat, they're saying that that's the real Palm Beach Pete, allegedly. This is what people are saying. I would not know. I wasn't there, and people be saying anything. There's also rumors going around that these pictures are not real pictures. I don't know why they would say that, because these pictures look real to me. And these are pictures of Palm Beach Pete from way back. I don't know. A lot of people are saying that these are generated, if you know what I mean. But of course, guys, entertainment purposes only. This is Palm Beach Pete, and he has nothing to do with Jeff. And we need to believe people when they tell us things, because Palm Beach Pete has no reason to lie to none of us. But of course, guys, let me know what you think. I gotta get up out of here.
Hey, but y'all remember though when they with Kamala Harris, they trying to Kamala Harris us, man. Remember when they were inserting her into pictures with her quote unquote ancestors that died before she was born, but she was in the same pictures as them, and they was playing with us like, yeah, this happened. Wow, you know what I'm saying? So it's, I mean, I understand we got trust issues, but y'all thinking Pete is Pete or is it the other guy? We're gonna get to it.
I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm a regular guy. I'm retired. I lived in the city for a long time. Worked in commercial real estate. I love to play tennis. I'm very social. I'm not going to change. This guy is dead, and he was a really bad person. And I can hold my head high. I didn't do anything. I just happen to have similar looks. I'm just a better-looking version than Jeffrey. Back in the day, when I was living in the city, I went to a couple of parties, and Epstein was there at a party, and he was kind of creepy, just sitting on a couch, staying to himself, and he wasn't the magnitude that he is or was, so he wasn't a big deal. He was mysterious. People didn't know how he made his money and where he, what his story was, but I never really encountered him and had a conversation with him. I just saw him at a party.
How much more suspect and guilty can this Palm Beach Pete guy be?
Yeah, he ain't have to give us that story, y'all. Like, he could have kept that shit to himself.
He just admitted to partying with Epstein in the 90s, so he's saying he has connections with him already. They're just getting us ready to expose the fact that this is Epstein and he faked his death, and he's probably like over 200 years old. He's also Andrew Jackson, if you haven't seen that photo. Now, this is a picture of him that he just posted like today of him in the 90s. So this is him. This is how he looked when he was partying with Epstein. But the thing is, they're the same person. Like, how more ridiculous can this story get? He's now saying that he partied with him. He is the same person as him. But it's good that a lot of people are checking on to this. They're figuring out. They're not just ignoring this and saying, oh, whatever. People know what's going on here. They know he faked his death. They knew this way back in 2019. So this isn't really surprising anyone. So you're not Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete.
Here's all the evidence we have to confirm that Palm Beach Pete is actually Jeffrey Epstein. Starting off with the first and
It's something ain't right about how he is saying this shit, y'all. Like, is that vibing with y'all? Let me know if y'all believe it. It's okay if you don't think that that's him. You know, we don't come here to force any thoughts on you, but it's just my opinion. Something is strange about this shit.
most obvious piece of evidence that both of them look identical to each other. Here's a side-by-side picture of the both of them, and you literally cannot tell either of them apart. Next, the both of them literally have the same exact teeth. So as you can see right here, this is Jeffrey Epstein's bottom row of teeth. And then if we go ahead and look at Palm Beach Pete's bottom row of teeth, literally identical to Jeffrey Epstein's. Next, in a recent interview, it was actually revealed that Jeffrey Epstein and Palm Beach Pete actually lived in the same areas at the exact same time. So when Jeffrey Epstein was living in New York, so was Palm Beach Pete. And then when Jeffrey Epstein was living in Florida, so was Palm Beach Pete. And when this was brought up, Palm Beach Pete was literally trying to shush the interviewers. And then finally, every single day now, Palm Beach Pete is uploading videos onto social media saying that he is not Jeffrey Epstein. And in a lot of these videos, a lot of people feel like he's actually trying to gaslight us because he really is actually Jeffrey Epstein.
You know, it's crazy. Like, all right, so I'm not saying everybody reacts the same way, but I remember when I first started YouTube, hit 100,000 subscribers. It was an incident that happened in Texas. People was in the car, somebody got unalived, and it was on live, and it was a dude in the back seat that wore a similar hat, similar beard to mine. And all of a sudden, I woke up in the morning, and everybody thought that I was the one that goddamn had something to do with this guy that I had nothing to do with. Murder, unalive, like on camera, crazy. And they really thought it was me. You can clearly see that the dude is not me, but people on the internet thought it was me. I wake up to thousands of messages telling me that they coming for me, they gonna get me and all this other stuff. Crazy. But one thing is, I didn't have to come out and explain myself like that. I made one video about it, and that was it. It's not me. But why are you dragging it, you know? And then that's not the type of clout that I would want attached to somebody of that nature, you know? So I don't know. It's kind of weird to me, y'all. Let me know in the comments down below how y'all feel about that.
All right. So you're not Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete.
Here's all the evidence we have to confirm that Palm Beach Pete is actually Jeffrey Epstein. Starting off with the first and most obvious piece of evidence, that both of them look identical to each other. Here's a side-by-side picture of the both of them, and you literally cannot tell either of them apart. Next, the both of them literally have the same exact teeth. So as you can see right here, this is Jeffrey Epstein's bottom row of teeth. And then if we go ahead and look at Palm Beach Pete's bottom row of teeth, those teeth right there can't just be easily replicated. You know what I'm saying? Come on, that is hard to beat right there. Them bottom teeth look crazy as hell, don't they? Teeth literally identical to Jeffrey Epstein's. Next, in a recent interview, it was actually revealed that
genetics just don't repeat that shit.
That Jeffrey Epstein and Palm Beach Pete actually lived in the same areas at the exact same time. So when Jeffrey Epstein was living in New York, so was Palm Beach Pete. And then when Jeffrey Epstein was living in Florida, so was Palm Beach Pete. And when this was brought up, Palm Beach Pete was literally trying to shush the interviewers. And then finally, every single day now, Palm Beach Pete is uploading videos onto social media saying that he is not Jeffrey Epstein. And in a lot of these videos, a lot of people feel like he's actually trying to gaslight us.
Pedophiles are willing to destroy the planet before they own up to their own sins. And if you think that it's all stopped and come to a halt simply because we can't find Jeffrey Epstein, and now this big war has started to distract from these politicians, if you think for one moment that these kids aren't still being trafficked, then you're fooling yourself. This is when it's happening even more than ever because the world is so distracted that the trafficking is actually ramped up. Everyone that doesn't find a way to speak up, speak out, take action, they're going to turn around in 10, 15 years, they're going to feel some type of way about themselves. A lot of people are going to suffer from regret.
Hey, John here. I would never unalive myself. You know, I'm the guy that yells about the Epstein list and posts random videos of me making fun of all the corruption in the world. Check this out. Instagram is, without telling people, adding my account to their hidden and blocked sections. This was sent to me by a longtime follower, someone who I talk to like pretty regularly, and they're like, yo, look at this. I hadn't seen you in a few days. Like, I checked my stuff and I went to like my blocked list and my hidden list, and your name is there, and it's the only one that's selected. The game is rigged. It's amazing we're still even a thing. I don't know, man. Fuck. I just thought I'd point that out. Whatever. Like, getting treated like an absolute, like, whatever. We're cockroaches. We ain't going anywhere, Instagram. You fucking idiots. Fuck you, IDF.
Everyone be aware what type of movies they're pushing out now. Even the kid one, Hoppers. Everyone thinks it's like over the hedge type fun movie. Yeah. Fam, you know what it's preaching? It's putting human consciousness into robotic animals. Oh my god, is that so
yes.
It is?
Created a revolutionary technology that gives us unprecedented access to the animal world. We call it hoppers. Huh? We put this into this. Yes, yes, this into this. Mabel! Be careful! This here will rock your body.
They're talking about skin swapping now, right?
Skin swapping?
With Jim Carrey. Oh, who got skin swapped. Demi Lovato looks different. Look. What the hell? This is one scene. The movie? This is animals wearing their human skin.
What the heck?
Look.
Whoa.
All right. Yo, Gavin, no way that's an actual scene.
No, that's a scene, fam. And all man says, oh, it's just a cute little animal movie. No.
That ain't no cute.
Fam, this is probably Jeffrey Epstein right here.
I'm just really scared of what AI is gonna become.
Hello there.
If you're looking for your inner beast, it's most likely living inside of a dark, evils, and deeply power.
He is the key element to this entire operation.
Matrix, hell.
I will finally step out of the shadows, and the entire world is gonna know the name of King Al-G.
We're in the computer?
Dad.
When we get to the top, there's so many people who are not human. What you're seeing right now with Trump is clones. That is not him. We've talked about this before, but some of the people around him, so say he's in an interview and then he kind of deflects and lets people answer questions for him. These are also the handlers of the clone. And some of these people are also not human.
Well, Biden's clone was exposed in the files.
I know.
He died in 2019.
Yeah, he's been gone a long time. Bill and Hillary, how Congress is pulling them in for the Epstein, they've been gone a long time too. So they are now interacting with clones of Hillary and Bill.
That makes sense because they barely do any public appearances anymore. They used to do a lot.
Yes, they've been gone for a long time, along with many other people.
The NVIDIA CEO just announced that we've achieved AGI. This was posted at 5:28 p.m. and right now as I'm making this video, it is 6:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 23rd, 2026. And now we have AGI. And for those of you who are not sure what that is, it's Artificial General Intelligence. Artificial General Intelligence means that AI can now do anything that a human can do at about the same level. So with AGI, it means that AI is going to be able to learn new skills from scratch. It will be able to problem solve. It will be able to...
You remember what I was telling y'all about them having an advantage of technology? Just imagine. I know for sure, for example, what it's like on the other side of the veil that you can't see. What about the real technology? Imagine how far beyond they are past that, giving us the crumbs. Kind of scary.
Reason. And so now that we have artificial general intelligence, the next step is artificial superintelligence. And so the interesting thing about where we're at right now today, March 23rd, is that this AI doesn't currently have a body. And so what they're doing, what AI is doing is it's hiring human beings to go out and perform tasks that they can't do because AI doesn't have a body. But what's interesting is that the bodies that they need are currently being produced. In this article from October 23rd of 2025, Elon Musk was quoted saying, "I don't feel comfortable building that robot army unless I have a strong influence." And so when we see pictures like this is what's going on over in China. They have this kind of stuff. I mean, and I'm sure we have stuff over here in America as well. But I think it's fascinating to see where we're going. We're in 2026 right now. We're talking about this kind of stuff, and this seems so science fiction that it's not even funny. But yet, here we are. And so my question that I am just pondering in my own mind is, now that we have artificial general intelligence, how long until we have artificial super intelligence? And then how long until we insert that intelligence into a body and then they just start walking around like it's just another day in the park? Now, in my own opinion, I think they've already had AGI. I think they've already had ASI. I think they've already had that for, at least a decade or two, because I think, we're pretty far behind of what the government has. And so this is just the writing on the wall as to what is coming. And I want you guys to appreciate the timing, because you have all of this, AGI, ASI, that's coming, all while we have Israel and Iran taking place right now. And then you have Trump saying that we're going to own or basically control the Strait of Hormuz. We have Greenland, we have Cuba, we have Venezuela. There's so many things that are taking place right now, and it's all at once. And so, in my opinion, these are all birth pangs that are letting us know just how close we are to the end times.
Remember, they want to integrate people with technology, and you got to think, like, they've set this out in public like that. They're not going to need people. Not going to need people. You're a useless eater. So it's a couple different options that we could be stepping into. Let me know which one, like, do y'all, what direction y'all think we're going in? Are they going to integrate people? Some people going to go for it. People are already doing it. They want to get the Neuralink and all these other things. Do what you want to do. I'm not a person that's going to try to convince you not to. I'm just giving you the options, but you choose for yourself. That's why each individual soul deal with the repercussions of what you do and be willing to deal with it, But if you put your consciousness into a robot, that shit'd be crazy, like they'll definitely be able to control you then. I'd rather be free knowing that when I pass, I can go on to another life. We're energy, we can't be created or destroyed, so we move on. We're pure consciousness. We're just controlling these meat suits right now. But yeah, I'm not going into a robot. I'm not afraid.
Okay, what if I told you that the New York Post just published something that is sending mainstream historians and archaeologists for a complete loop? They are literally fuming right now because they just talked about the existence of ancient giants. That's right, actual, real, gigantic people. Now, the article comes out with resurfaced 3,300, actually, that's interesting, 3,300-year-old Egyptian document hints at biblical giants being real. I find it interesting that they say they hint at it, because last I checked, in ancient Egypt, you can see depictions like this. And you may be thinking, is this like perspective? Like this guy's up close, that guy's way far away, hundreds of feet away, so he looks smaller. But then what would you say to this one? Because that's a cow, and that's a guy taller than 4 cows. And then the real kicker, again, carved in stone, ancient Egypt, that's a foot. Now this, of course, is AI, but we're talking that kind of height. If not bigger, if you do some equation here, how tall would you be if your foot's that big compared to that normal-sized human? So why would they hide giants from us? Is it because it would contravene the official narrative of how our Earth came to be and what happened in the last couple thousand years? Also, notice it doesn't say several 100,000 or 1 billion years ago, because, well, how old is the Earth really?
Now, we have been deceived about so much, it's not even funny. If you think they are not also deceiving us about the food and water supply, I might have news for you.
The way they treat us is the main reason they're going to be stuck in a low vibrational hell for eternity. Read that again.
This is Attack on Titan. It's a show where this city.
I've been telling y'all to watch this. How many of y'all actually took the time to watch this? They got a lot of gems in it, man. But we're gonna keep going though. I don't wanna pause. Just let me know if y'all watched it.
That is protected from these massive giants, these humanoid demonic creatures, by having a massive wall built around their city.
They have an army where they fight against these creatures, and they discover that some humans have the ability to turn into these creatures, which means that they contain some of this giant, this Nephilim DNA, and it carries on. Not only that, these giants exist all around, and they have to be stopped. They are not able to comprehend, they're not able to be spoken to, and they have an appetite for humans. Now, what's interesting is that in the book of Enoch, this is exactly what the giants did. They would consume all the resources, and after all the resources are consumed, they turn towards man and began to consume them. We have had recent reports of Marines seeing giants while they were out on deployment in Afghanistan, specifically the giant of Kandar, where it had 2 rows of teeth, 6 fingers, and 6 toes, and red hair. And it was massive, and it was fast. And they had to put it down, and it was immediately suppressed and considered as hearsay. It's dangerous. But I say that they continue to tell us in the shows and the movies if we have eyes to see and ears to hear. This is Attack on...
I saw the wolf head the size of my window, and he was trotting along next to me, and he was looking down inside of my cabin. I'm at 9 feet tall. And I was hearing a vocalization that wasn't natural. I got in the truck, started driving, and as I looked in my right side mirror, there was a wolf head. His yellow eyes were darting all over the place. I had a gun, and I just pulled it and shot twice, and it went down. I knew it was dead, but I wanted to make sure. So I turned around. As I was coming back, I'm looking right where that werewolf was laying. It was gone now, and there was a Jeep parked, and there was a man and a woman there, and they were just looking at me a little bewildered. I was detained. A couple of federal officials said, "You killed one of our assets, and this is how things are going to go down from this point on." They took my gun, and they shut my bank account off. They keep people quiet, and I'm just not going to stay quiet because too many people are getting killed by these things and don't even know they're out there because of the suppression from the government.
That's crazy. Like they are currently, I mean, well, they already found the bodies of the Nephilim and stuff, but they do offer money for people with giant genes and stuff. They offer y'all money just to get your genetics so that they can kind of like reconstruct or trace back lineage to these people. The same thing like Attack on Titan. What they had to get an understanding for is some of them that live within the wall had the ability to transform into some of the Titans. And he misspoke kind of just a little bit. He probably just missed a little detail, but some of the Titans were actually intelligent. The higher ups, think about it. The higher up the rank was, they actually had understanding, and they also had different abilities. Some of them were colossal titans. Some of them was like a beast titan, just like the little just like the werewolf that we seen chase down the truck. Some of them were like beasts. So it was different types of titans. And then the other titans that they speak of, think about it. Have y'all looked at the show Welcome to Derry with Pennywise? The tall white giants with red hair. Look at that, and then look at the Welcome to Derry. He fell from the sky. I don't want to give y'all all the details, but he fell from the sky. Pretty much they're representing an interdimensional being. There's many different beings that live on this planet, and some of them was created. Some of them were recreated from old genetics. Think about it. Let's get back into this video though.
It's 2026. No, it's not. It's 1446. So you see, you confused, you brainwashed. It's 1446. And I can tell you how I know. Because they stole time. Listen, it's supposed to be 13 months, but then they made it 12.
And they do time travel.
Right? You gotta understand this. So you gotta understand this 130 years right there. And then you gotta understand all the history that they stole. They stole history. You gotta understand this. What they did was they conquered people, conquered shit, and said it didn't exist and changed the time. What do you believe? Everything's not a conspiracy. No, it ain't a conspiracy. You gotta understand this. Everything's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. Niggas, I'm playing with. I'm talking about shit that's true. It's not a conspiracy. No, I hear you. For real, it was 13 months. If it wasn't 13 months, it wasn't no. But I'm saying, like, what do you believe? That's what? I don't believe shit. What? Ain't nothing to believe. I just know. Listen, belief is what man thinks is true, and it's a different thing. When you talk about a true statement and a truth statement, a true statement can be proven false. I'm gonna tell you a true statement. Milk is good, but it can be proven false. I'm gonna tell you a true statement. We stuck because who the fuck got out, right? It's different ways, and people don't understand the difference between the true statement and a true statement. What I give you is the truth, nigga. I'm a prophet of the creator.
Why can't pyramids be built today?
They can.
Why?
So they can, and they still are. They can, and they still are.
So why are we?
Niggas one in Memphis.
Man, you talking about a fucking glass?
No, one in Memphis. You think it's a game? You think they just toys? Why the fuck would they build them like that? Nigga, go to Vegas. Niggas won in Vegas. Why do you think niggas gamble like that in Vegas? Nigga, the pyramids steady getting built. Nigga, they stole the technology. They steady building them, but you don't know you don't know.
Nah, I'm talking about the pyramids in Egypt.
They're the same pyramids.
The big block, the big ones that they can't build anymore, my nigga.
Don't get it. Yes, they can. The first phone. How the first phone was big as fuck. It ain't the same phone no more. So you think the pyramids gonna look the same? You gotta use your brain, nigga. The pyramids is where they still at. You see them. Vegas, pyramid.
Notice how it's from 1887? Yep. Yep. American Antiquities and Discoveries in the West by Josiah Priest from 1835. Now, me personally, this is gonna have to stay in the library, so we're just gonna come right over here. There we go. Just so people know. You ready for this one? We think we should start. The convolution of the globe, which separated America from the two continents east and west of it, and of the removal of large islands. Nope, we're going to start with the traits of ancient cities of the Mississippi. Nearly opposite St. Louis, there are traces of two ancient cities in the distance of a few miles situated in the Cahokia Creek, which empties into the Mississippi. But a short distance below that place here is situated one of those pyramids, which is 150 rods in circumference at its base, nearly half a mile and 100 feet high. At St. Louis is one with two stages or landing places. As the architectural phrase is, there is another with three stages at the mouth of the Missouri, a few miles above St. Louis. With respect to the stages or landing places of these pyramids, we are reminded of the tower once standing in Old Babylon, which had 8 stages from its base to the summit, making it 600 feet high. At the mouth of the Cahokia Creek, a short distance below St. Louis, are two groups of those mounds of similar size, but we are not informed of their exact number. Baton Rouge are several mounds, of which is composed chiefly of shells, which the inhabitants burn into lime. There is a mound on the Black River, which has 2 stages or stories that is surrounded with a group of lesser ones, as well as the Bayou Baton Rouge. There is one of those pyramids near Washington in the state of Mississippi, which is 140 feet high, which is a little short of 9 rods perpendicular elevation and 56 rods in circumference. Mr. Breckenridge is one of the opinion of the largest city belonging to this people, and the authors of the mounds and other works was situated on the plains between St. Francis and the Arkansas. There is no doubt in the neighborhood of St. Louis must have been cities of large towns of these ancient people, and the number and size of the mounds above recounted would most certainly justify. 15 miles in a southwesterly direction from the town of St. Louis on the Merrimack River was discovered by a Mr. Long on lands which he had purchased there. Several mounds of the ordinary size as found in the valley of the Mississippi, all of which go to establish that this country, lying between the Missouri and the Mississippi rivers below St. Louis and between junction of Illinois and the Mississippi above, with the whole region about union of those rivers which with each other, which are all not far from St. Louis, was once the seat of empire equal, if not surpassing, the population and arts as once they flourished on the plains of Shinar, the seat of Chaldean power, and on the banks of the Euphrates. Should we read about the original Mexicans?
And that's why I think it's important for us to check the things that are local versus us going to everybody else's country and doing excavations and stuff. Is it, like I said, it's a reason why they don't want us to do this stuff here, y'all. But we're gonna get deeper into that, you know. And we're getting the old technology that we already had before. The goal is to keep us away from it. The goal is for a lot of us to become like workers and yes men. A lot of y'all, you got to understand the different ways that we learn in school. Just think about this, put this in perspective, and see if you were this child in school. And this has happened to all of us because we're all different type of learners, right? So we have a math test. The math test, you just can't just know the answer and put the answer. You have to show your work, right? Remember how they wanted us to show our work? And we had to do the steps exactly how the textbook said, or we wouldn't get the credit for the answer. Or if you worked it out differently, you still have to work it out how they showed you. Some of us have a brain where we don't have to get told everything. If you give us a mission, we will accomplish it in our own way. They didn't want us to use our creative part of our brains to solve real world problems, because if all of us that think like that started to do that, we would rise to certain levels. We would get back and tap into our technologies and stuff like that a lot quicker. They're trying to slow us down because they know what we're capable of. And therefore it's few of us that start to tap into like our creative side and start to build technology and stuff like that. We're heavily influenced by outside sources, frequencies, music, celebrities. All of these things affect the daily brain of like our people. And a lot of us are starting to realize now that we have to distance ourselves from the things that's been selling us out and misguiding us, because it's just crazy how some people think that being a thug and a drug dealer is something cool. Somebody being a unaliver out here is being cool versus being a doctor, a herbalist, a scientist. Like, Scientists and doctors and shit is cool. The holistic ones anyway. I love the ones that do surgery as well, because that is also needed. The ones that don't push drugs, preferably. But they don't want you to be out here thinking for yourselves and being creative and in your bag, because you're an infinite being. So the possibilities of what you can build and create in this life, if you weren't stuck in a perpetual state of fight or flight and you were thinking right, oh my gosh. That's why I pour this energy into y'all all the time, because there's some of y'all that's watching this and you know what you should be doing, and you're getting back to it. You're figuring it out, man. It comes natural. It's easy, and you're thinking a lot clearer. I'm excited to see what some of y'all come up with in the future. I'm excited to see the scientists. I'm excited to see new technologies. I'm excited to see that. Those are the things that we should be applauding, man. Not all this other stuff, these dating shows and he said this, that, bro. We're far beyond that now. I know I am. But that's just where I'm at in my life, man, and the things I think about. Like, let's build something. Let's build a tech company together. So eventually, I'm gonna start bringing some of y'all on my show, so that you can show your abilities or your technologies. I don't really want to sit down and do this whole etherical talk where we're talking about spirituality all the time. We'll dabble in some of that stuff, but let's bridge the gap. Let's step into owning some shit. Let's step into farming. Let's step into a better way to solve problems, like not using pesticides on our foods, getting our seeds back so that we can have organic fruit that we can trust, not having fish farms with parasites and stuff in them, you know, stuff like that. Let's just solve some problems together. But look, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Share these videos with your friends and families, and some of y'all got the answers, and that's why we do these videos. Some of y'all, well, I think everybody's capable of something, but some of y'all are just great. I appreciate y'all. I cherish y'all time, and I see y'all in the next video. Like I always say, spread love, because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. I see y'all in the next video, and I'm out though. Bye.
Let's go to the domes.
Profits, short-term profit accumulation over other values, human values in our society. These solutions that they promote, like they're going to solve these problems, it's all a bunch of nonsense at the end of the day.
Skills, things like summarizing a document, brainstorming, putting together a financial report, makes me worry a lot that entry-level jobs in areas like finance, consulting,
Oh my God. Can somebody please think of the financiers and the entry-level consultants and the entry-level speculators on the stock market? What will they do now that they won't be able to grift like they normally could?
many other areas like that, entry-level white-collar work. I worry that those things are going to be first augmented, but before long.
Won't someone please think of the entry-level white-collar workers? You know what's funny is that these are the people that are in control of the, you know, the entry-level white-collar workers. Like, you're doing this shit that you're saying is causing harm to these people that you pretend to care about. Like, you're in charge, motherfucker. You could put a stop to this. It doesn't have to be this way.
Replaced by AI systems, and that we may indeed, it's hard to predict the future, but we may indeed have a serious employment crisis on our hands as the pipeline for these.
This is just a comment that shows your own ignorance, okay? We're commenting on the news, okay? We are independent content creators. We're journalists. We're reporters. We're noticing what's going on. We're noticing the treachery. We're noticing the malevolence. We're spreading awareness. We're educating and agitating our audience to be more class conscious so that they can identify who the actual enemies in this society are. And trolls like this want to talk about me being a grifter. Like, how fucking upside down is your emanation, is your perspective of the world? I mean, come on. Like, where is this energy for Fox News? Okay, why don't people like this go after the actual institutions that are grifting on an institutional fucking level? They control the entire fucking public life. They govern public life. But it's me that's grifting, right? Because I'm fucking noticing this shit and I'm trying to spread awareness about it. I'm the one that's grifting. Pull your head out of your ass, you dumb fuck. You literally are just spewing your own ignorance to the chat right now. You do not understand the class-based society that you live in or the political economy of capitalism. You want to go ahead and attack all the bottom feeders, the people that are just trying to survive under the yoke of capitalism, who are just trying to make a fucking living by the use of their labor. Yes, this is labor. It's called intellectual labor. It's physical labor still. Education is an act of labor. I'm just tired of the fucking ignorance. Yes, I am triggered. Like, it's infuriating. It's infuriating that people don't understand what kind of a society they live in. They just want to punch down. Like, at least be class conscious. At least understand who the actual enemies in this society are, and punch up at them. I mean, I know it feels good for your spineless fucking personality to, like, you know, attack people that you are in proxy with, that will, you know, it's like that commenter, he knows he can't get, what is this guy named? Dario Amodei or whatever, the CEO of Anthropic. It's obvious, like, you know, you can't get this guy's attention. You can't get the attention of the CEO of BlackRock. You know, you're pissed off. You don't really know who the enemies are. You can't really, these people, they don't drive down your streets. They don't, you know, eat at your restaurants. They don't live in your neighborhoods. They live in a different fucking world. And because you don't see them, and because you're still miserable in your own life, because you're living under these socioeconomic conditions imposed upon you by the capitalist class, what do? You don't see them, you don't interact with them, so you just attack everyone around you because you're an idiot. And that's the kind of shit that, like, we need to overcome as a class. Okay? That's why I focus on it, because so many people think this. They're walking around like temporarily embarrassed millionaires and billionaires. They're gonna get their comeuppance. You know? Anyone that tries to critique the political economy must be a grifter, must just be jealous, right? We must be jealous of those who are more successful. Like, everyone should aspire to be a fucking sociopathic billionaire. Once you understand how the economy is organized and how it's exploiting you and undermining your very existence, then I don't think you say stupid shit like that. Exactly. The grifters are the ones in charge. There's only one grifting class, folks. And it's not the class of people that are reacting to the grifters. It's not the people that are, hey, spreading awareness about the grift that's going on. So, like, have a fucking spine, you know? Understand that you are a working class member of society. You derive your identity based on your economic position. What is your social relation to the economy? That says everything about who you are. It informs all of your social and political and cultural beliefs. You would not be here if you didn't have a position in the economy. You wouldn't be here if there was no economy to begin with.
Say goodbye to your social life with the greatest collection of grand strategy, management, and role-playing games we've ever offered. You start small. With just a few simple clicks, you can run a thriving metropolis, control the Holy Roman Empire, or rule the galaxy. It's that easy. It's packed with breathtaking full-color spreadsheets and historically accurate maps. So forget about healthy sleeping patterns and get any of our fascinating games at a premium discount now.
At Vistaprint, we print all the signs that help your small business stand out. We print tabletops that get your brand seen up close, and retractable banners that stop everyone in their tracks. We print A-frames that bring in business, posters that show them what you're all about, and vinyl banners that let everyone know you've arrived. No matter what you need, we print all the signs that you can put here, so you stand out, even when they're way back here. Because at Vistaprint, if you need it, we print it. Get 15% off signs and banners at Vistaprint.com.
Anyone asks a stranger, it's maybe their name. The first question is, what do you do for a living? How do you get on? How do you survive? How do you put food on the table? That's very relevant to society, right? It's very relevant to other people that you meet. And it spells out everything about you. And so many people want to pretend like they're in the class, like they're part of the club that's undermining their existence. You're not part of the club. You're not on that team. Why are you fighting people on your own team? It's just, you know, it's like class consciousness is understanding that there are two classes and understanding which class you belong to. And class analysis is understanding who is there with you and who's not. Because there's a lot of people in the working class that are in the working class, but they have ideas that are not of their class. They have the ideas of their class enemies, and they promote the cultural hegemony of their class enemies. And that is despicable. That is spineless. That is cowardice. And that, if anything, that, you know, centers on my analysis here, that anything that I could teach anyone else, the most important thing is class consciousness. It's so elemental, and yet it's so obvious, and yet it's not. It's so overlooked. It's taboo. It's just axiomatic that we should all be walking around like sociopathic, self-interested individuals in the pursuit of self-accumulation for profits so that we can escape the grievances and the socioeconomic conditions of the working class. We just want to, you know, be part of the club. But it's such a spineless position to take, I think. Thank you, Deas. My entire life, my people have been attacked, and we are considered the problem. Your Lebanese, Iraqi, Palestinian, and Persian ancestry in your blood. Well, that's just covers it all, doesn't it? And we are the ones who get targeted. I know. It's despicable. Everything's upside down, this batshit crazy world. Excuse me. Thank you, Bad Tat, for becoming the latest member on the YouTube Live. I appreciate that. Yep, lots of class traders. Too many class traders in the world right now. I don't know what that means, Spencer, but I'll try and do better. I can't stomach this no more. You're right. All right, back to the Goy slop.
Early stage white collar work starts to contract and dry up.
What's the timeline here?
Yes, so it's very hard to predict these things given how fast, given how fast AI is making progress. But I would not be surprised if somewhere between 1 and 5 years, we started to see big effects here. You know, I've heard a number of people talk about this in private. AI CEOs talk about this in private. CEOs of other companies talk about this in private. And I really felt that, the message that this is happening hasn't been getting out to ordinary people, hasn't been getting out to our legislators, our Congress people either. And so I felt I needed to speak up on the record. I do think that this is something we can prevent this, but we need to act now. I don't think we can stop the AI bus. There are 6 or 7 companies.
Motherfucker, you're at the helm, bitch. You're the one in charge. Shut the fuck up. You're perpetuating the fucking misery.
The insider trading allegations are back. This time we're looking at $1.5 billion
This is a big story right here. Let's listen to this.
in insider trading. Or was it just luck? Did someone from this administration make a well-timed bet right before the president tweeted? Or was it just all a big coincidence? Is it more lucky trades? Now, this is a long-running story. We started with an $190 million insider trading question back when the president put tariffs on. And right before it, someone had shorted the crypto market, made millions of dollars. And once again, our question was, what did this person know? Was it just luck? And we're back to this question because with the increasing financialization of everything, increasingly geopolitical moments are more than just horrific questions of whether someone's going to get bombed or not. The new question is whether your portfolio is going to get nuked or your position is going to get blown up or somebody else is going to make a killing on you financially. And this is a question not only for the traditional markets. Obviously, we now have war trading on places like Polymarket.
Hell yeah, war trading on Polymarket, where you can not stop the bombs, but you can bet on when the bombs fall.
And I want to discuss it real quick before we get into the insider trading question. We're going to listen directly from the Polymarket CEO, Shane Copeland, because he kind of presents this as, oh, it's actually value we're providing to the Iranians. This is a value proposition because now people know whether they should, hide in their bomb shelter.
When I get hit up by people in the Middle East who are saying that, hey, we're looking at Polymarket to decide whether we sleep near
I got a jacket that says peed on it.
Bomb shelter. Like, we look at it every day and I'm like, oh, it's really that popular over there? Like, are you kidding me? Like, do you not even know what's going on? Like, everyone's relying on this.
Guys, is this a good thing? Is it a good thing we're going to gambling apps and going, am I getting bombed today? Look, setting aside even the national security threat of people basically placing bets on insider information of who we're going to strike when to try to make a buck. Okay, setting that aside, isn't this just like really immoral that bets are being placed on whether we're going to strike a country and then that country is retroactively trying to use that information to figure out, insider information on whether a colonel or a general or a lieutenant placed a $50,000 bet on Polymarket, move the market. Now we know something's going on. Like, I just want to pause and think about what kind of dystopian hellscape we've created where people are looking at a gambling company to see, are we actually going to get blown up today? Because this has been well reported on from The Guardian, from Reuters, from people like the New York Times, that bettors are constantly cashing in on some of these war strikes, and some of them show signs of insider knowledge, meaning people are going to these platforms ostensibly with what looks like insider information, placing bets, and then I guess people are using those bets to kind of try to make actions on whether they're going to sleep next to bomb shelter. And we're going to go back to that, but I want to take a look now at this $1.5 billion insider trade for a second here. Now that we've kind of covered that this is happening at a smaller scale on some of these prediction markets, because of course, the biggest market of all is not crypto. It's not prediction markets. It's the capital markets. And we saw some big moves here pre-market because previously the position of our government, which of course is laid out on Truth Social, is that if Iran did not fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, the U.S. was going to obliterate their various power plants. And of course, the reason we're trying to get the Strait of Hormuz open is because without it being open, the price of oil is very high. So you can imagine that if this is resolved diplomatically, the price of oil would go down, the stock market would rip, go up. And if it doesn't happen, the opposite occurs. Oil probably goes higher. Stock markets probably take a dip if it's not open. So the information of whether Iran is going to capitulate is very valuable. And this administration are the people who know it, right? And so when the president posts that he's pleased to report that the U.S. has had very productive talks with Iran. That obviously sent the stock prices going up and the price of oil coming down, just like predicted. But people were quick to notice that there were some traders that seemed to get in early. This is the Financial Times graph. And you can see the Trump post right there. And before both of them, you can see a little spike in trading volume 15 minutes prior. 15 minutes prior, the Financial Times reportedly found that $580 million in oil trades shorting the oil market were placed. And specifically, $1.5 billion worth of S&P 500 futures were bought. Again, this is only minutes before, about 15 minutes before Trump announced that there are peace talks with Iran, which potentially could settle this whole thing. And obviously the question is, was this all a coincidence? I mean, look, I think pretty clearly it's not. I have to hedge, of course, and say that we don't know who exactly placed these trades. This is something that the SEC, CFTC would have to investigate, which, you know, is obviously unlikely given that we just had the enforcement division director resign. We just had the CFTC. They're busy, you know, diving into regulated betting with Polymarket and the MLB. So it seems like they have different priorities on their hands. I don't know if they're going to.
Guys, stop yelling at me. God, that guy was such a prick. Former Israeli ambassador admits on live TV that Israelis have been hiding in bomb shelters for a month. He just ran out of one of those massive Iranian missiles. Pound. Ooh, pound. Yeah, pound it. Pound it down. Pounding Tel Aviv. The Iron Dome is completely failing, and the panic is
Our
real.
children, our grandchildren will be very...
The panic is real. Right, Gaga? 15-point plan should include U.S. delivering Yahoo's frozen body to Iran to be peed on. Ooh, that's nice. And Yair is a stepping stool for the Ayatollah. That is beautiful. Lovely.
Well, if the conflict ends and if the goals of the war are achieved, John, then everybody in Israel will be very, very happy. I just got out of the bomb shelter about 5...
I just left the bomb shelter, and I can tell you that the chosen people are in good spirits, happily graping and swinging chickens down there.
5 minutes ago, we had another two very large missiles striking not far from where I'm talking to you. And these are cluster bombs that break up into many, many bomblets and kill people.
Yeah, something's telling you, Michael, that you should maybe get the fuck out of there. I don't know. Just have a hunch.
So certainly the people of Israel have been in these bomb shelters now for a month. Our children, our grandchildren will be very, very happy if this war ends, but it has
I don't think so. Not so fast-a-wits.
to end in a way that we don't have to fight it again another 10 or even 5 years. Well, if the conflict ends...
5 years? Can you imagine? 5 years? There's no Israel in 5 years if it continues to this pace.
And if the goals of the war are achieved, John, then everybody in Israel will be very, very happy. I just got out of the bomb shelter about 5 minutes ago.
It's just funny. Sometimes you just take it out of context, just listen to what they're saying. I just got out of the bomb shelter a few minutes ago. Yeah, here's your sign, Michael. Here's your sign. All right. I got some more updates to show you. Exploiting sirens to avoid paying? What are the Jews in Israel up to now? Amid the current tensions, a Hebrew report revealed a noticeable phenomenon inside Israel. Channel 13's correspondent reported that some people in shopping malls and restaurants have begun deliberately waiting until the moment sirens sound, and then, as you can see, they're like, I'm not paying for this Happy Meal. Happy Meal? Crappy Meal. The tiny hats are running away. That looks like an AI picture, though. But I also heard that settlers in the West Bank are torching their own homes and claiming it was an Israeli airstrike just so they can get the insurance. They would do that, wouldn't they? Day one, Trump says, I won. Iran, total victory. Day two, Trump says, I won again. People can't believe it. Day three, still winning. Experts say nobody wins like I win. Day 4, victory just keeps on a-coming. The fake news won't report it. Day 5, everyone's talking about how much I'm winning. It's unbelievable. Day 6, they said it couldn't be done. I keep winning. They admit it privately. Day 7, nobody thought winning could be this winning, and I did. Day 8, even my critics say I won today. Incredible. Day 9, winning so much it's exhausting, but I don't get tired. We're basically reading Donald Trump's diary right now. Dear Diary, Day 11. Another day, another win. People are shocked. Day 12, experts have been stunned. They can't believe the scale of my victories. Day 13, winning keeps happening. Everybody wants my strategy. Day 14, the media is silent, but I win again. They're jealous. Day 15, the biggest win yet. History books will remember this for sure. Day 16, people said it was impossible. I proved them wrong. Day 17, I'm winning everywhere. Even Iran agrees. Day 18, another day of tremendous victory. Everybody loves it. Day 19, the fake news still doesn't report it. It's sad. Day 20, I keep winning, my family proud. Day 21, my historic winning. Nobody has ever won like this. Day 22, every day is a victory day. They can't keep up. Donald Trump, you'd think he'd be losing some weight at this point with all the victory laps he's been running. Day 23, winning more than anyone can imagine. I'm making history. Day 24, the media hates it, but I won again. Iran wants a deal. Day 25, the ultimate win. People everywhere saying, how does he do it? I won bigly. Someone sold oil seconds before Trump-Iran headline. $580 million bet. Look at that. 6:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, $1.5 billion worth of S&P 500 futures are bought. And here comes the rug pull. 7:04. Bada bing, bada bang, bada bing, bang, boom. Here's Douglas McGregor on that same story.
Well, I think we have to understand that we're dealing with Hunter Biden levels of corruption now.
Oh my God, not Hunter Biden levels of corruption.
The Trump White House. Let me explain why. You put the oil trade up there. There was a bet that the price of oil would tank. And that was a bet of about 150 million. Another bet was placed that the market would lift, in other words, rise dramatically. That was a $1.5 billion bet. Now, whenever you bet in the market, which is effectively what it's about, it's a big casino. you know, for those who are only in it for casino purposes, as opposed to others that draw income from it over time. What we need to understand is that you bet less on the downside and bet more on the upside. So the $150 million bet paid off because somebody within 3 or 4 minutes of President Trump's announcement knew what President Trump was going to announce. The same thing was true for the 1.05 billion bet that you've got up there now. Both of these bets paid off handsomely. Now, who in the White House could possibly have known, and who in the White House has access to that kind of capital that could have a stupendous impact on profits? Well, I'll let everybody in the audience sort of let that sink in. Think about it. And understand that in a normal setting, were this to happen, I would say 50 years ago, 100 years ago, maybe even 30 years ago, the Attorney General would be sitting at his desk or her desk and receive a note saying, we have witnessed this unnatural market behavior that's resulting in mega profits. And it all seems to come right before the president makes an announcement. We feel this justifies an investigation. Well, I don't think with Pam Bondi in there's any chance of that investigation.
How much fucking money do these sociopaths need at the expense of seemingly everyone at this point?
happening on the executive side. Now, then the question is, well, what about Congress? Will someone in Congress stand up and say, look at this, this is outrageous? Maybe, but it's unlikely that it will gain much traction because the population of people that sit on the Hill in Congress are busy with insider trading. In other words,
I mean, Donald Trump already has made billions of dollars on his presidency, and he's still rug pulling and engorging himself.
everyone in Washington is profiting one way or another from the disasters that are unfolding in front of us on the Hill and here, in the Middle East and here at home.
We're at the apex of criminality. There's really nowhere to go except rock bottom.
So I really, really want the MAGA crowd to pay attention to this because they've been taken in badly by this president, misused, abused, and exploited. They need to wake up.
Well, most of them are cucks and they like it.
And understand the kind of Hunter Biden level of corruption that they're dealing with in the Trump White House.
We're talking about rednecks who punch themselves in the face and think they're manly. That's what we're dealing with. Breaking back in March, Trump claimed that the U.S. blew up a drug trafficking training camp. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that was legit. In Ecuador, and released a video of the attack. Today, we just found out, thanks to the New York Times, that it was actually a dairy farm. Well, we know from Israelis that, milk is an issue of national security. That's how Hamas makes those rockets, Mother's milk, baby formula. At the request of Ecuador, the Department of War executed targeted action to advance our shared objective of dismantling narco-terrorist networks. Oh, yeah. Got to watch out for those narco-terrorist networks, folks. They're everywhere. And if you don't see them, that's because they're so good at hiding. And if you do see them, it's because they're everywhere. Either way, the threat is very real. All you have to do is imagine it. This operation demonstrates the power of coordinated action and sends a clear message. Narco-terrorist networks will not find refuge in our hemisphere. So this was a war crime. Thank you for blowing up a dairy farm in Ecuador. All in the name of freedom and democracy. God, this country is so despicable. I cannot stand it. On the flip side, Haifa is completely destroyed. Yo. Show my cock. Show my cock. Oh, yo. Fuck. You want to hear two Jews talking to each other? Yo. Yo. Yo, 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 yo. So. Sha. Sha. Wow. Whoa. Oy vey. And scene. Thank you. Yeah, it did sound a little Asian. You're right. Speaking of Asians, look at this guy. He is oppressively Asian. I've never seen someone that Asian before. That's crazy. I like this guy, Alon Mizrahi, by the way. He posts a lot of good stuff. He's an ex-Israeli, anti-Zionist Arab Jew. They do exist. It's like Santa Claus. It's like finding Santa Claus or a leprechaun. An ex-Israeli, anti-Zionist Arab Jew. Wow. How rare. I wonder if I collected them, how much shekels I would get. Okay, sorry. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. It is very, very rare to hear China use such terms. They are so level-headed and pragmatic usually, says Alon. When a formal Chinese speaker uses this kind of strong, direct language, it should send chills down the spine of Western leaders. China is a massive giant with unlimited capabilities, and it stands 100% with Iran. This cannot end in anything but a resounding defeat for the United States and Israel. Let's listen to this clip from Victor Gao.
越来越大的概率表。
An increasing probability suggests that the military wars invasions waged by the United States and Israel contain evil elements, he says. I believe that all of humanity should cooperate to eradicate the evil forces revealed in Jeffrey Epstein's files. Based. Look at that. Everything is in Mandarin except for Jeffrey Epstein. He's transcended all geographical and cultural boundaries. An increasing probability suggests that the military wars invasions waged by the United States... I guess it was a short clip. Okay, not as exactly bone-chilling as I thought it would be. It's a bit of a hype build-up, but that was pretty based of that Chinaman. I told you 24 days of running to a bomb shelter several times a day would break Israeli society. Look at this disturbed woman walking around with huge knives, waving them at people in Beersheba in Israel. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my word. Get away from this lady. She's brandishing a knife. Oh, my God. Now she's running with knives. That is not a good look. What the fuck? Look, they're gonna hit her. Oh my God, that guy sucked. Come on, Shlomo. Get in there, Shlomo. Get your hands dirty. Don't be a pussy. Are they all pussies? He had full vantage point. He's going after a woman, and she's got his back to him, and he still can't take her down. What the fuck is going on here? Oh my! What the fuck? He's terrible. Like, what has he got there? It's like the thing that they wrap their arms around, like they're doing some heroin or something. You know how they do that little ritual where they wrap their arm in that whatever that leather is? He's like trying to throw it. It's like maybe 2 feet, and he's like 10 feet away, and he's like, meow. Somebody needs to explain math to him. Oh, so this was the Iron Dome they're talking about. The Iron Dome is just some guy, some Shlomo with a leather strap, just meow. Guys, leave this poor woman alone. She's just looking for a chicken to swing. Jesus Christ. She's trying to fulfill her blood sacrifice. This is what you guys do, isn't it? Don't worry, I carry these knives not for human, for chicken. And now we dance with the knives. He dances with knives now. And now God's trumpets are heralding in some more thunderbolts. Look at this. It continues. Oh. Oh my word. It seems so unreal at the end. Like how she fell. Was this just like a whole staged incident? I mean, that's weird. At the end, did you see that? When he goes? Like how did she fall down? How did that belt make her fall? I don't understand. That seems fake. Oh, here she is again. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's so funny. Yes, I kissed you with the knife. Oh, he's so funny. That was absurd. Senator Ted Cruz says, due to the Democrats' shutdown, I've asked the financial clerk of the Senate to hold my salary. All right, Ted Cruz. Maybe you should ask Netanyahu to relinquish your balls. It's not right for members of Congress to be paid if the working men and women of DHS aren't, he says. Dear Mr. Ruckner, for the remainder of the current partial lapse in appropriations, please hold my salary check for pickup in the disbursing office. It's not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna get paid by AIPAC anyway. Senators don't really care about a salary because they're all corporate shills. It's not right for members of Congress to be paid during a partial shutdown. Oh, he's so noble. He's so noble. This is the same guy that goes on vacation in Cabo when his own constituents are freezing their asses off in Texas because of a power grid shutdown. But hey, he gets to go and have a family vacation in sunny Mexico. But now he's standing on principle. He's letting us know he will forgo his salary. It's sort of the same tactic of the uber elite billionaire class. Like when Elon Musk tells us, oh, well, I don't really actually take a cash salary. Oh, my gosh. Well, you are so benevolent. You're so pious then. Well, the real story is that that's not how individual sociopaths like Elon Musk and the Epstein class that he belongs to, that's not how they make money. That's not the rules that they play. They don't need to make salaries. They have passive wealth, not earned income. And yet we only tax earned income and not passive wealth. And that is also evidence of the class war that we're living through right now. And, that's our legislation we got. It's legislation for the capitalist class. He's got stock options, folks. He's got AIPAC donations that he lives off of. State of emergency declared in Israel as a radiation leaked from Dimona. So this is pretty big. I think this is what Suleiman was talking about earlier. He said that there's been some leakage. State of emergency declared in Israel as of 4 hours ago. If this poster is true, radiation leak from Dimona. That fat fuck Benaquir going to cry about it some more. He's such a baby. Sorry, troops. Trump put a fucking moron in charge of your lives.
We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country.
That's interesting verbiage from our Secretary of Defense. It's oddly reminiscent of a document issued by the UN Fact-Finding Commission report of 2009, where they went into Gaza and they assessed the damage of the Operation Cast Lead, which was Israel's worst war crime in Gaza up until that point, up until 2009. Obviously, it's been superseded by October 7th and also Operation Protective Edge in 2014. But the Goldstone report alleged that the goal of Operation Cast Lead, much like Israel's goal every time it decides to start a war against a neighboring country, is to demoralize, humiliate, punish, and terrorize the civilian population in order to force a political goal that the Israelis have in mind. And here is piss drunk Pete with his piss take talking about how we need to untie the hands of our warfighters, and our goal is to demoralize. He literally said that, demoralize, humiliate. Well, this is terrorism. This is the language of terrorism.
Those are the words of a potential war criminal right there. And that is not the advice and counsel and direction that any Secretary of Defense should be providing our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. It puts them actually in greater danger. The Secretary of Defense is a disgraced major that was kicked out of the DC National Guard. He has no qualifications whatsoever to be the Secretary of Defense other than his
his Fox News career,
extreme loyalty to the president. Again, those are the words of a potential war criminal.
We also don't fight with stupid rules.
Yeah, potential. You're right, Saeed. He's already, I mean, you know, he proves that on the daily at this point. I still can't get over that elementary school that we bombed in Manab, Iran. And it doesn't even get talked about, you know? It's not even, they don't even bat an eye about killing 170 schoolgirls. It's just unreal, man. The shamelessness, the cowardice, the malevolence, the deceit, the lies. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to think about. It's utterly heartbreaking, actually. What wave are we on in Iran? I think it's got to be up to the upper 70s at this point. Actually, I think it was already upper 70s yesterday. We might be on in the 80s now. And actually more on that later because I have some news on that. Iran brilliant. Let's take a look at these reposts as we go through. Iran brilliantly outsmarted Israel's billion-dollar Arrow missile defense by using cluster munitions. They completely overwhelmed the system, making it impossible to intercept the swarm. The U.S. can't complain because they refuse to ban these weapons too. It's a masterclass.
Overwhelming the defense systems.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Why exactly did Iran use cluster bombs on Israel? It all comes down to overwhelming the defense systems. Israel has the Arrow missile system, which is fantastic at targeting a single large warhead. Iran knew this, so they adapted by firing a cluster weapon. When this weapon separates in the air, it releases a wide spread of smaller bomblets. This completely overwhelms high-altitude anti-ballistic missiles, making it incredibly difficult to shoot them all down. Because of the heavy moral implications like leaving behind unexploded bombs, over 100 countries have banned these weapons. Interestingly enough, the U.S. never banned them. Why?
And neither did Israel. And coincidentally, neither did Iran. Look at this. Kuwait airport is burning. Shaky cam. Let's see. This is from the Quds News, I think. Just in, how have the U.S. bases helped the Gulf? What good have the U.S. bases brought you? If Israel attacks you, will the Americans fire a single bullet to defend you? Absolutely not. The spokesperson for Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya headquarters, in a message to the Arab and Islamic world, urged the creation of a regional security alliance independent of the United States and Israel. Like music to my ears. Stressing that the U.S.-Israeli aggression against Iran marks a new phase and that Iran stands at the forefront of defending the Islamic nation. This is your boyfriend, yeah. No, he's mine. My boyfriend. He's a Giga Chad for sure. He called on regional states to avoid reliance on external powers, return to the teachings of the Quran, and build a collective security system declaring Iran's readiness to form a military and security